Welcome to Storytime with Sean S. We all have family members we'd rather avoid. They know everything, no matter what you tell them, and they expect you to help them whenever they want without anything in return. A therapist would love to get their hands on these people in these stories. They could retire because they get hundreds of billable hours. Let's get into it. Every one of these stories is from Reddit. Story 1 is from Entitled People. In our first story today, we have a sister who decides to police everyone's vocabulary. She doesn't get the results she wants. Titled, When My Entitled Sister Couldn't Stand to Hear the Word Epic. Let me tell you about my sister. Not everything. That would take all day. But I'll tell you this. She was a cheating wife, a checked out parent, and once left our grandparents holding a trailer mortgage while she ran off to party. She was a lot. And today I'm going to tell you about the weirdest thing she ever put me through. And that's saying something. The year? The Twilight Era. You know the one. My sister was a grown married woman. She was absolutely, completely, unreasonably obsessed with the Twilight movies. Not like, oh, I enjoyed those. I mean, poster on the wall, phone in hand looking up lore. If Edward walked through the door, she'd be gone obsessed. And yes, the werewolf guy, the one who got his big break playing Shark Boy, she was gone for both of them. I'm not here to judge anyone's taste in movies, but what came next? I will absolutely judge. One day, I mentioned that a movie trailer looked epic. Just epic. A normal word. A common word, and my sister snapped at me like I'd said something unforgivable. Full mood swing. Then she tried to explain what word she didn't want me saying without actually saying it. Like she was playing charades with her own unhinged rule. Eventually, she just had to say it. Epic. She didn't want me saying epic. And when I asked why, she told me that ever since she started watching the Twilight movies, she couldn't see anything else as epic. So the word was taken. Off the table, reserved for Twilight. I want to be clear. She cursed like a trucker in front of her kids without a second thought. But epic, that was the line. I was staying over at her place once or twice a week at the time, helping with her kids while her husband was away for military training. So I couldn't exactly avoid her, and she was on patrol, actively listening, waiting for me to slip up. There was a Christmas dinner where I was talking to relatives and mentioned there was something being epic. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw her rubberneck so fast she could have hurt herself. That death stare. I'd only seen it reserved for things she truly deeply hated. I think she even got into an argument with our mother about it over the word epic. One day, and I genuinely don't remember if I was thinking it or just done caring, I mentioned that a new video game looked epic. I think it was Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 actually. Massive Universal Century Gundam fan. The game was, in fact, epic. She lost it. She even told me the game wasn't epic. She tried to declare what was and wasn't epic. In my own mind, about something she'd never touched. She tried to flip it, got sad and said I didn't understand how she felt. I told her she didn't understand how I felt either. And more importantly, it was a common word. Not a slur, not a curse. Epic. You don't get to claim it. She got mad. Then she stopped policing the word, and eventually the Twilight obsession faded. The posters came down, the lore checking stopped, the word epic was free again, as it should be, because some things are simply epic. That sister is intergalactically stupid, and might I say, epically stupid? In story 2, we have a cybersecurity expert whose family member decides that Google knows better than they do. Entitled Aunt thought I could recover 6 years of photos from a destroyed laptop in 5 minutes. I work in cybersecurity, which means to my family, I am IT support. I am Google. I am the Geek Squad. I am the Apple Genius Bar. Every tech YouTuber rolled into one. And usually, I can handle it. Slow laptop? Sure. Forgot your password? Give me a minute. But this weekend was something else entirely. My aunt showed up with a laptop. And when I say the laptop had seen better days, I mean the screen was shattered, the casing was bent, and the hard drive. When I tried to boot it up, it was making that clicking sound. If you work in tech, you know that sound. It's not a good sound. The sound of a drive that's been physically damaged and struggling to spin. I asked her what happened. She threw it down the stairs. She told me she needed 6 years of family photos recovered by the end of the day. I looked at it and told her the truth. The drive was severely damaged, and on top of that, the laptop had the BitLocker encryption enabled, which means even if I could access the drive, I'd need the recovery key to read anything off of it. I asked her if she had the recovery key. She didn't. I asked her if she had any backups, cloud, external drive, anything. She didn't. I told her her best option was a professional data recovery lab. Warned her it would be expensive. Warned her it wasn't guaranteed. Just being honest. She immediately became enraged. Told me I was making a mountain out of a molehill, that I was keeping a secret, that tech people all know the easy fix but won't share it because they don't want regular people to know how simple it really is. I told her there was no magic button. There was no magic recovery program that repairs physical damage to a spinning drive. Software can't fix hardware. She told me her friend has a son who's good with computers. He could probably do it in minutes. I handed her back the laptop and said, "Please, take it to him. I genuinely hope he can help you." She stormed off and then called my mother to report that I had refused to help and was bullying an old woman. I went back to my weekend. I had no idea what was coming, but I was about to find out. Oh man, do I feel seen with this story. I'm not claiming to be an IT professional or anything, but there have been a handful of times in life where I knew how to fix something. Somebody asked me how to fix it. I told them exactly what to do, and they didn't listen, and then they claimed I wasn't trying to help. Man, oh man. I don't know what's about to happen with OP, but I hope they end up okay. We have an update to this one, so let's jump right in. Our update is titled 4 Photos and a Digital Horror Show. I want to be clear about what I did after she walked out with a laptop. Nothing. I said nothing. I did not follow up. I did not warn the friend's son. I let the situation go exactly where it was going to go. Then one day, my aunt called my mother, loud enough that I could hear her across the room. The prodigy had done it, free of charge. He handed her a USB drive and told her he had recovered everything. She called my mother to announce that this teenager had done in a few hours what I, a cybersecurity professional, had said was impossible. She was triumphant. I was just a pain. I was making mountains out of molehills. The secret button existed after all. I was in the room. I said nothing. I sat down and I waited. She came over with the laptop and the USB drive to show us. She inserted the drive. She opened the first folder. 4 photos loaded out of 6 years. The rest was not missing. I want you to understand that. The rest was present on the drive in a way. Every other file had loaded, but what loaded was not a photo. What loaded was the ghost of one. She would open an image, maybe see the top 5% of someone's head, the rest of the frame. Neon green. Heavy gray bars, corrupted data, rendered as visual noise. The digital equivalent of what happens when you try to read something that has been turned to dust. Here's what happened. The drive was physically failing. That clicking sound is the read head struggling to find the magnetic coding it needs to read. When you run recovery software on a drive in this condition, The software pulls raw sectors. What it cannot read clearly, it stitches together from whatever it can find. Corrupted segments, partial data, garbage from adjacent sectors. You get a file, but it's not a file of a photo. It's the shape of where the photo used to be, and BitLocker made it worse. The encryption means that even the fragments that were readable came back scrambled, unrecoverable without a key she never saved. And then there's the part that cannot be undone. Every time he ran that recovery software, every time that already failing drive was forced to spin without a clean room or proper hardware imaging, it was grinding the magnetic coating down even further. Microscopic damage. Irreversible damage. A professional data recovery lab works in a controlled environment with hardware imaging. They make an exact copy of the drive sectors before any software ever touches it. That's how they give you a chance. He did not do that. By the time she looked at me, those 4 photos on the screen, the drive was not just damaged, it was finished. Even a professional lab could not save what was left. She looked at me. I looked at the 4 photos. I looked back at her. I shrugged. I did not say I told you so. I didn't say anything about the clicking sound, or the BitLocker warning, or the professional lab I had recommended weeks earlier. I just looked at her with something that was not quite a smile and was not quite sympathy, and I walked out. The drive was gone. The photos are gone. I am no longer the family's on-call IT department, and that secret button? Yeah, that still doesn't exist. People like that aunt are like the kind of people that go to the doctor, get a diagnosis, and then complain that WebMD told them it was something else. If I know something about this know-it-all lady, she probably has half of those pictures on Facebook anyway, so she can just steal them back. We've got one more entitled family member story for you today. This is an entitled people story also about ridiculous family, but I think it was also cross-posted in Petty Revenge, so we're getting a double dose. In story 3, we have a cousin who decides she's coming for a visit, a long visit. She doesn't ask. Titled, You Have an Extra Room and I'm Family. Last year at 25, I bought my first house. 3 bedrooms, 1 is mine, 1 is my home office, and 1 is a proper guest room for people visiting for a weekend. Not a long-term arrangement, a guest room. I'm telling you that so you understand what I was protecting when the call came in. My cousin Tasha called me. We're not close. She is the kind of person who shows up at family events, causes a scene, and somehow leaves with it being someone else's fault. My mom once said that Tasha could smash a glass and make it someone else's fault. Growing up, there was always something. Lies, drama, petty theft, blame shifting. As adults, the rumors got worse, so when I picked up the phone and she launched into 2 minutes of small talk, I was already braced. Then she said it. She'd broken up with her boyfriend, and she figured she'd stay at my place for a while. A few months, just until she got things together. She said it as though she was inviting herself to dinner. No, please. No, do you mind? Just, I'll be there. I said no. Politely at first, I explained the guest room isn't for long-term stays. I work from home. I need the space and the quiet. She immediately flipped it. She told me I was acting high and mighty because I bought a house. Like that made me better than everyone. I didn't engage with that. I just held the line. A few days later, an aunt called. Not Tasha's mom, just one of those relatives who appoints herself the family peacemaker. She said it wouldn't hurt to help Tasha out. She's still family, and I told her the truth directly. I have seen Tasha move in with people before. It is never a few months. She arrives with drama, bad decisions, and she never leaves until someone threatens legal action. That's not me being cold. That's me reading a pattern I've watched play out more than once. I've worked hard for my house. I've worked hard for my peace. My home office keeps my career going. My guest room is for guests who actually leave. Tasha is not a guest. She's a permanent fixture who comes in with a chaos tax I was not willing to pay. She's gonna figure it out. just not at my house. I wonder if Cousin Tasha ever showed up at that house anyway. I wonder if it went a little something like this.
We're not home.
With today's stories, this is why we have therapy, and this is why there are so many books about boundaries, because these people stomp all over them. And you've got to do what the last OP did and hold the line. I hope you enjoyed today's stories because as usual, I have fun reading them. If this is your first time finding me, do not forget to click the like button and subscribe. I'm trying to grow a community so this can be my job. It's way more fun to read stories with you guys all day than it is with what I actually do for a living. So come on back for more stories. Now on your screen, YouTube is showing you some other funny stories that we have on this YouTube channel since we got started. We try to keep it light, we try to keep it family friendly, and stuff that almost anybody will laugh at. We don't care about politics. We welcome anyone of a different religion, race, or background. We just want to help everybody have a nice, easy time after a long, hard day. The only people who might not enjoy this channel are the people who act like the stories we read. We'll see you at the next video. Have a good one. See you next time.